Okay, so hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Oscar Outdoors. Join me in this one as I go through 5 tips for wild camping for beginners. Alright, so welcome back everyone. As a little intro, today I'm going to be telling you about my 5 tips for wild camping beginners, or how to start out wild camping, something similar. So this is a tag video. I was tagged in this one by Dan, the English Woodsman, so thanks very much for the tag, mate. Enjoyed yours. You did have some really good tips in there, and obviously a lot that are probably going to be mirrored throughout a lot of tips videos, including 1 or 2 of mine now. But yeah, first tip, I've written them down because my memory is useless. So yeah, the first tip is stay local. You know, don't run before you can walk, basically. Go and find out whether wild camping is for you, or you know, whether it's something you want to try and don't want to be too far from home should something happen. You know, a gear failure, or you do get disturbed in the woods, or asked to move on. You know, all these little scenarios can come up. So yeah, stay local, research the area as well, so you know, make sure that you're not intruding on someone's land without permission. There is a lot of right to roam land, certainly in Yorkshire, and you can differentiate that via maps and things like that. But if you know that a land is owned, and it's got sort of public access, and so pathways and stuff like that, don't venture from the paths, because you know, you can get yourself in a lot of trouble without the permission. But staying local, if you do get that permission granted, that might be a way for you to go, because the security of knowing that you're not going to be turfed off by the landowner or disturbed by somebody, you know, that might be something that you need for your first couple of times. So yeah, get buddied up with a local farmer. So tip 1, stay local. So tip number 2, try solo camping. You know, there's nothing more relaxing than just being kicked back in your hammock or your tent on your own and just alone with your own thoughts, and you know, not having the disturbances that we've got in modern life nowadays. You know, your phones. Obviously I always got my phone on me because I do record my videos on my phone, but you know, you can put your phone onto airplane mode or something and just completely chill on these solo camps. But again, anxiety does get you. This was one of Daniel's tips, the anxiety for your first few solos. Well, even now, to be honest, when you're setting up, you think, you know, what if someone comes, you know, ooh. So but you've got to try it. You've got to push yourself to them extremes, haven't you? Yeah, get a solo camp under your belt at least, even if you go out, you know, for your 8 hours overnight sleep, and don't actually sleep a wink. Get out and do it. My first solo camp, I know I didn't sleep a wink, but I went out and I was getting battered by winds all night long, so I didn't take earphones or earbuds or anything like that, so I was just literally awake all night, and obviously the fear of being disturbed as well, that didn't help at all. So yeah, number 2, try solo. So tip number 3 for wild camping for beginners, once you've done your locals and you've tried your solos and you want to sort of push your boundaries a little bit more and go on expeditions and things like that, when you do that, when you buy food, you see that when I go out I cook a lot of food and things like that. It's not just all expedition pouches and whatnot, but try and limit what you take with you. So you know, if you are just going for a quick overnight and you think, oh, I'll just grab a pot noodle, you know, take the pot noodle out of the actual pot and pour it into a Ziploc bag. That way you're saving space in your pack and you can put something that could be more essential in there. But yeah, try and remove all sort of packaging and replace it. Again, Ziploc bags work an absolute treat. There are some that are watertight as well for fluids and things like that. So if you're taking alcohol or any sort of fluid, really, water or whatever, you can put them in the bags. Obviously, a bladder for water is brilliant, but a water filter is second to none as well. So yeah, tip number 3: obviously keep your food out of its original packaging and cut down on all the excess that you don't necessarily need. Tip number 4: we live in a modern age, and it's become so much easier now to research the gear that you're going to be needing and the areas that you're going to be going to. You can almost do it. Well, you can literally do it from your fingertips, can't you? The internet is such a useful tool. So for looking up gear, so obviously the brand that I use quite frequently is Snugpak. Now, if you want to check Snugpak out, I'll leave a link in the description to all of them, as I always do. But there are plenty of brands out there, and comparing, Snugpak's Stratosphere to the Gear Top Hooked Bivy, or the OAX Fox 2 to the Ionosphere, or the Hammock Cocoon from Snugpak to the Hammock Cocoon from One Tigress. You can compare all these without having to actually go and physically have them in your hands. You can see the weight differences, you can see the waterproofnesses, you can see the hydrostatic head ratings of all kinds of different equipment. So if you research it from home, know exactly what you want to be buying, know exactly what you want, and get the gear that's right for you. So if you're going to be doing expedition hikes, you obviously want to think about lightweight tents and things like that. But if you're not, if you're just going to be in your local woodland, like I do quite frequently, and weight's not too much of an issue because you've not got that big hike at first, then get that extra weight but have more comfort. It's about finding the right balance for you: weight or comfort or waterproofness or insulation. What's right for you. Do a lot of research on it. Don't go by what I say, don't go by what Dan English Woodsman says. You've got to do your research and get what you need. So yeah, that's tip number 4: research your gear. Tip number 5 is really knowledge. So it's having a knowledge of knots, for example. Knots can be the difference between a good night's sleep and a bad night's sleep. I did have one video fail. I'll try and leave a little clip up here for you now, where one of my guy ropes came off from the tarp, and the tarp ended up slapping me in the face and whatnot. And it's just because I pegged it out and not sort of double tied it or give it another anchor point in bad weather. That's my own fault. But I had the knowledge to then go and rectify that in the middle of the night and not having to abandon camp, so I could get back into bed and have a comfortable night's sleep. So having the knowledge of knots, of your surrounding area as well, knowing the difference between a hardwood and a softwood tree, or where you can find materials to start fires such as birch bark and fatwood and things like that, and deciduous trees for fire starting are just brilliant. But yeah, having the knowledge of your surroundings and while you're out there, and have you got a water source quite nearby that's a flowing water source, not going to be a standing stagnant pool. Yeah, and that's basically it. So that's tip number 5. Take a lot of knowledge with you. It's immeasurably priceless. And the last little tip I've got, it's only supposed to be 5, but try and buddy up as soon as you can. Now that I go out with Dan English Woodsman quite frequently, and we have sparked up a really good sort of bromance, so to speak, over the last sort of 13-14 months that we've known each other, and we do a lot of camping, but we also do a lot not off camping. We do a lot as friends as well. Yeah, find someone that's of the same mindset as you, someone that's going to appreciate the same things that you do, you know, the simplicity of sitting around the campfire, the simplicity of just, you know, making s'mores over that said campfire, or just coming out and enjoying a coffee while you're out. You know, it's the little things in life are what we all need, and it's brilliant for mental health. Now, if you know me personally, or you've seen some of my previous videos where I have talked about mental health, you know that I have struggled with my own, and you know, getting outdoors and doing stuff, you know, being that person, as Dan says, getting up and doing it really does helps to clear your mind and sort yourself out. But yeah, so as I said right at the start of this video, this is a tag video, so I'm now going to move on to my tags. So these tags are people that I've spoken to either recently or since I started my own channel, you know, people that I've got to know through YouTube. You know, I've not physically met any of these people as yet, but I do have a lot of conversations with them about gear, about advice, about locations and things like that, and about man sheds. So yeah, the first one, Sonny from J&S Outdoors. Ooh, hey, leave his channel up there for you. Yeah, you're number one. If you could go ahead and give me your first or your 5 tips for wild camping. Secondly, I've got Laconian Concept. I had to write that one down because it's quite an unusual name, and it's just done an introduction video on YouTube, so it's a fairly new channel, so please go across and support him. I've spoken to him quite a lot, and the thought process behind the name for the channel is amazing, so go and check that video. I'll leave a link to that in the description as well. Third up, I'm going to go for third up I'm going to go for Simon Burton from Wild Campers UK. Simon has just become a father recently, so I understand that you're not doing a great deal of videos, Simon, so this is just one that you can do from your living room, mate. It doesn't have to be out and about. I just pulled over on the way to work and filmed this one. Yeah, so that's 3. Another 2, I'm going to go with Paul Thompson, I think he's called. It's a Cumbrian Lad Outdoors. I may have got the channel name wrong, so I will flash that up on screen for you, and again leave you a link in there. And finally, my last one, so number 5, Jimmy, let's go with you. Lundy's Outdoors and Bushcraft, something like that. My memory is terrible, I should have written all this down. So yeah, you 5, so we've got Sonny, Laconian Concept, I've forgotten already, Jimmy, Simon, no, it's gone. Anyway, I'll leave a link to them all because I watched this back. I'll leave a link to them all in the description below. Go ahead, do them videos for me, guys, and tag your next 5. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, comment, let me know what you think about my tips, and if you're not already, please subscribe to the channel. I'll see you in the next one.